Good evening and welcome to the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, a program that is designed to keep you well informed about Nigeria's agricultural sector. I am your host, Gabriel Ojile. In our last episode, we brought you an overview of the National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison services. Tonight, we are focusing on the achievements of the Institute in its efforts towards enhancing extension services and building the capacity of farmers. But before then, we have news from the diary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Keep watching. From the north to the south of Nigeria lies over 70 million hectares of arable agricultural land, a country teeming with agricultural potentials where crops like rice, maize, wheat, sorghum, cassava, yams, fruits, and vegetables thrive. Vast opportunities abound in cash crop production like oil palm, cocoa, cashew, rubber along the value chain, and a temperate weather for healthy livestock rearing. Invest today in production, processing, and marketing of agricultural produce. Invest for wealth creation, job opportunities, and upliftment of livelihoods. Agriculture in Nigeria, where return on investment is guaranteed. Transforming agriculture in Nigeria starts with news around the sector. In the lineup, Agri-Ministry partners with AGRA to tackle post-harvest losses. Also, stakeholders commend Agri-Ministry for its support to Second Africa Cassava Conference. Details of this after this short break. In an effort to address the problem of post-harvest losses in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in collaboration with Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, organized a stakeholders engagement workshop to validate a post-harvest legacy program targeted at utilizing technologies to address post-harvest losses in Nigeria.
It is indeed a great pleasure to welcome you all to this.
Speaking during the workshop, the Director of Food and Strategic Reserve, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Okolo Callistus, stated that addressing post-harvest losses in Nigeria would enhance food security and boost the nation's economy. He urged stakeholders to share ideas in the process of validating the proposed program to address post-harvest losses in Nigeria.
Post-harvest losses always undermines food availability, farmers' income, and price stability. Addressing them requires not just technology, but the right mix of policy, support, market linkages, finance, and institutional coordination. This workshop provides a platform for collective review, refine and strengthen the proposed solutions. I therefore encourage participants to engage actively.
Nigeria alone lost about $10 billion.
Speaking in an interview with journalists during the workshop, the country director, Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, Rufus Idris, stated that Nigeria is losing $10 million annually to post-harvest wastage. He said the workshop is to find a way out of the challenge.
Hey, we have a big problem. We're losing so much money. We're wasting so much food. How do we reduce these wastages so that the food that has been produced through the sweat of several smallholder farmers that make up large numbers of our farmers in Nigeria is not being wasted? $10 billion is as big as the Nigerian budget for agriculture, if not more than. So how do we curb that is why we're here today, to say, okay, we need everybody's hand on deck. Government is investing, private sector is investing, and also other development partners are also investing to see how do we channel a legacy program that will help Nigeria save the $10 billion that we lose annually to post-harvest loss. That's why we're here today. That's the most important thing we're here.
Pan-African Organization for Small Agro-Allied Industry and other stakeholders in the cassava subsector, who organized the Second Africa Cassava Conference recently, has paid a courtesy visit to the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security to appreciate the Minister and the Ministry for the support given for the success of the conference and the cassava subsector.
We were delighted for the support.
While speaking during the courtesy visit, the head of the delegation, Henry Emujuo, expressed appreciation to the Minister for his support and briefed him on the success and challenges of the cassava subsector, as well as the way forward as discussed by stakeholders during the conference.
After the conference, UNAIDO was also very important instrumental technical support to that event. And then we were having a conversation. There was an investment forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. when the regional director came by, I said, Dr. Henry, please come. The Saudi Arabia, they need cassava. And then Afrexim Bank said they have activity in Canada they want to improve, especially in terms of value-added activities. I said, that's fine, that we need to harmonize these demands and see where the funds are coming and see the actual varieties we need to work on, and then to see how we deepen the engagement. Nigeria being one of the highest producers of cassava in the continent and around the world.
And it's a big pleasure and honor for us to host you.
In his remarks, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, expressed honor in hosting the delegates, emphasizing cassava's significance in agriculture.
Cassava is a crop that has very wide uses, and it can, from food to industry applications. We have actually engaged, I don't know if you know Professor Ken Ife, yeah, and Dr. Emeka. We have done some work with them.
Policy coordination.
In its 63 years of existence, the National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Service has achieved a lot in shaping Nigeria's agricultural sector. In our next segment, Records of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we shall focus on some of the achievements of the Institute and the impact it has made over the years in the development of agriculture in Nigeria. Please keep watching.
The National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services, in discharging its mandate of developing, collating, evaluating and disseminating proven agricultural innovations, has over the years achieved successes in several areas. The achievements include Annual Performance Survey Report of the Nigeria agricultural sector, transfer of new agricultural technologies to farmers, increasing farmers' productivity, crops and animal disease control, production and dissemination of agricultural media programs, conducting annual agricultural extension review and planning meeting, training of community-based advisors, capacity building for extension agents, farmers, students and other stakeholders, building of adopted villages and outreach centers for farmers, building of e-extension platforms, among others. The importance of agricultural extension are in many folds, one of which is the creation of awareness to farmers on new agricultural technologies and innovations. In this regard, the National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services NAERLS has played a pivotal role in educating farmers on the use of fertilizers.
For example, when fertilizer was first introduced in Nigeria, NAERLS played greater role in enlightening farmers to even use the fertilizer. They don't like it. They may collect at that time that the government wants them to use, giving them at a very low subsidized price, sometimes even free, but farmers were resisting the use of fertilizer. So NAERLS played a greater role in convincing farmers, showing them both practically the importance of fertilizer. So later they adopted the use of fertilizer, and that has increased the yield farmers were getting. Another achievement that we can't forget is the use of improved varieties. One, as an example that I can pick, when soya beans was introduced in Nigeria, farmers don't want to use it. NAERLS has to carry out a project. They call it Soya Beans Project that time, some years back, to show farmers the advantage of producing soya beans.
The Institute has also contributed positively in enhancing the productivity of farmers from the production of 5 bags of agricultural produce per hectare to 60 bags per hectare. This indeed is noteworthy.
Farmers before the establishment of NAERLS actually suffered because for a large area of land, like 1 hectare, you will see a farmer will just get very few yield. Like if we take, for example, maize, farmers who are just getting less than even 10, between 10 to 15 bags per hectare. And a hectare is a big area of land. So when NAERLS came through its extension services, meeting the farmers, giving them the modern technology on how to produce, the yield of the farmers improved drastically from that meager 10 to 15 bags. Now our farmers are getting 50 to 60 bags per hectare.
One major strategy of ensuring these successes by the NAERLS is by training of extension agents across the country. The institute has also achieved a lot by training students and farmers groups.
Of recent, we conducted a training for a group of students that came. They were put through how to formulate poultry feed. And could you believe that the feed that they formulated, they stock in day-old chicks. And after about 5 weeks, some of them were weighing about 3.2 kg. After 5 weeks. In those days, they would say 8 weeks. But with the type of feed we're formulating, and that gives the students that usually comes here and eat. And then with the farmers, same thing with the farmers. If a farmer or if the farmers group come, like the adapted farmers group, we have them in group, the adapted villages. They do come here, we train them theoretically using the publication we made on good agronomical practices, and then we also subject them to hands-on using the adapted village group.
The National Agricultural Research Liaison Services is also generating agricultural data across the 774 local governments of the country through its annual Agricultural Performance Survey report. This has shaped the policy direction of government over the years.
Data at different stages of these value chains is what we talk about. Let me give you an example for production. Yearly, in our agricultural performance survey, we do look at the volume of production for the major crops in the country. And we will be able to say that, okay, by estimate that for rice, this is the volume of rice in metric tons that we are expecting to be produced for the country. And if there is a surplus, then we can plan, government will use the data to plan for maybe storage of the surplus. And if there is deficit, government will use that same information to plan for how to meet up the demand for that particular food commodity.
Let me educate you on agri-performance survey. Agri-performance survey tells the story of agriculture in Nigeria as it is today. How are the plants doing? How are the farmers coping? So it's our own researchers that go around the country, every local government in Nigeria, to go out and carry out a survey of what real life situation, what is going on there on ground, what is on ground in every local government. I think we have 76 local government? 74, thank you. So our own researchers go around all the 774 local governments every year. It's one of our mandates to go and get the information, on the spot information. How are farmers doing? Are they getting the correct inputs to go about their farming and livestock of farming? How are their crops doing? Do they get enough inputs like fertilizer to do their farming activities?
The National Agricultural Research Liaison Services, through its crop and forestry program, has supported the development of both crops and forestry in Nigeria. Indeed, it is shaping the practice of farmers across the country.
We are doing the best we can to uphold that mandate in terms of technology transfer, in terms of developing simple materials, in terms of simplifying the technologies to farmers so that they can easily understand. That is what we do, and that is what improves the productivity of our crops, our farmers, and even our soils around here. And I am sure if you look at, let's say, 30 kilometers circumference of NAERLS, if you come to town, you will see that the mode of crop production around here looks a little bit different because of the technologies, the trainings the farmers have been getting.
The National Agricultural Research Liaison Services has also produced and disseminated a lot of radio and television programs on modern agricultural practices and skill acquisition to farmers, processors, students using different channels.
When we started radio production, again we had challenges which we overcome. Again, this is another area of our major achievement. Before I go into the specific ones, just as I mentioned earlier, we had to go to the Broadcasting Corporation of Northern Nigeria to produce our programs, and you're in the media, and you know the challenges and entails of live telecast. Okay, our media specialists had to go to Kaduna to record live programs until in the late 1960s that we were able to start producing our radio programs and in-house. The same thing also goes for television, which was also an initial challenge, which again we overcome, which also was one of our major achievements. We had to go to Kaduna to use the facilities of the Broadcasting Corporation of Northern Nigeria to produce our TV programs. Again, until in the late 1980s, we were able to have our own television studio, which I believe, as time by towards about, we'll have opportunities to visit.
Aside the radio and television agricultural programs, the Institute has over the years produced an array of publications to aid and guide farmers and other stakeholders.
We translate whatever publication we have from English to the local language in the community. Like these are in Hausa, we call them Jagora Normal Shinkafa. You remember we mentioned rice production. So this in the Hausa version, Jagora Normal Shinkafa. And then we have some Waken Soya, Jagora Normal Waken Soya. All these are in Hausa. Now we have for other language, we have for Igbo and Yoruba, particularly if you go to our zonal offices in the southwest and the south-south. Like in the southwest, they are predominantly Yoruba speaking. The English bulletins are translated into Yoruba. And if you go to south-south or southeast, where we have the Igbos, I think in the southeast, where we have the Igbos, we translate it to Igbo language. And then even Pidgin.
Regardless of these achievements, the extension gap in Nigeria is still at one extension agent to 6,466 farm families. To bridge the gap, the NAERLS has over the years leveraged technologies and disseminated agricultural extension to millions of farmers and extension agents across the country.
In our website, we also post some of our activities, especially our report, national report. You find them online in our website. We have a YouTube channel which has been created and is very functional. We have Facebook also. It's one of the models we are trying to develop, but usually we are trying to simplify all this model to make them accessible to common farmer or common stakeholder. Some of them we don't want to make them very sophisticated, which can only few of the farmers or the stakeholder can access. We are looking at the majority of the farmers, which is the simplest way that they can access this electronic extension services.
Welcome to the National Pharmacy Helpline. My name is Yaya Musa Kayode. How can I help you today? Okay, thank you. You're calling from Kogi State.
This is the National Farmers Helpline Center located at the E-Extension program of the NAERLS, Zaria, where farmers are given extension services at all time. Farmers that need extension service can call using the mobile phone number 081-4239-8838.
The farmer can call regardless of the level of education, regardless of the level of literacy, and the area they are. So when they call our center, we have subject matter specialists on ground that will pick the call. By default, when the phone rings via an IVR, interactive voice response, we tell you, welcome to the National Pharmacy Helpline. My name is Yaya Musa Kayode. You choose the language. So we'll render this service in Hausa, English, Igbo, Yoruba, and Pidgin. So when you choose the preferred language, the call will be routed to the appropriate call agent that speaks your language. So when you do that, you'll be profiled. You're calling from Taraba, you're calling from those local governments, you'll be profiled. So the subsequent time when you call, we don't need to ask those informations. So primarily, there are three systems that power the center. We have what we call the CRM, the Customer Relationship Manager, that allows us to profile our caller. We also have the CCA, the call center applications that allow us to call out, also allow us to receive call from this farmer.
In case you just tuned in, the program is Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, and we have been discussing Nigeria Agricultural Extension and the achievements of NAERLS. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we will focus on some of the achievements of the NAERLS in partnership with research institutes, extension agents, development partners, and other stakeholders. Please stay tuned.
The National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services remains a bridge between agricultural research institutes across the country and extension agents, as well as farmers.
We have a lot of stakeholders, but mainly we will say research, extension, farmers, and administrators. Then you have a feedback, because it's an extension sort, so it goes in, comes out. A technology is developed by a researcher, it comes to the extension, it's verified here, then it's pushed to the farmers adopt, and we see outcomes. We develop, we send to the policy makers, and then some of the challenges that might have come out from the technology could now be also transferred back to the researchers to conduct more research.
There are lots of equipment developed by the research institutes across the country. The National Agricultural Extension Research is also working in partnership with some NGOs in the area of training processors of agricultural produce and fabricators of equipment across the country.
We all know that once we harvest our crop, we need to do some few things on them before we store. And these few things that needed to be done are threshing, shelling, that's removing them from their natural states, how we harvest them from the field. After doing that, we remove all impurities in any form, either by winnowing, allowing air to pass through to remove the shafts, which are lightweight. We do some level of cleaning as well by removing bad grains from good grains and removing impurities as well. So then we do drying. It's very important for us to dry so that we can store. Now, you ask of available technologies. Technology of threshing, shelling, winnowing, they are all available.
Aside partnership with research institutes, the National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services is also collaborating with development partners. This has led to the training of community-based advisors.
One other solution also to bridge the gap of these insufficient extension agents is we have developed, in collaboration with AGRA, what we call CBA concept. CBA means community-based advisors. Community-based advisors. These community-based advisors, we invite farmers that can read and write from various communities, bring them together, train them to serve in their communities as extension agents. So this community-based concept actually help to bridge the gap of insufficient extension agents, because these farmers that we call CBA, that is community-based advisors, we train them and we link them also with agro-allied companies. So one, apart from being trained to serve as an extension agents, they also serve as these agro-allied companies representative in the community.
We do what we call the annual review and planning meeting, where we gather all these stakeholders. There is 16 research institutes, all the 36 ADPs, and then the NGOs, and even input dealers and the farmers themselves. We pull them together every year. Here we meet and do our annual review so that the work of A will not be done by B. We harmonize everything.
The National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services is also in collaboration with NIMED in providing weather forecasts to farmers. The institute has also been in partnership with the National Agricultural Seeds Council as well as state governments.
At the state level, our major collaborators are ADPs, that is Agricultural Development Programs. In all the states, 36 states of Nigeria and the federal capital, we have these ADPs. And we collaborate with all of them in whatever we are doing, be it training of the farmers, training of the extension agents, carrying out demonstrations in various states, or we want to conduct some survey to know what is going on in the state. Right from here, our headquarters, within short time, we can just communicate to all the 36 states and FCT, and they are our major collaborators. Within short time, we can get the information we are looking for, or we can pass the information we want to disseminate to farmers through these ADPs. And we also collaborate with the State Ministry of Agriculture.
The National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Service is building bridges to develop the Nigerian agricultural sector by conducting annual agricultural extension review and planning meeting, which brings all the stakeholders in the extension business together to address the challenges bedeviling agricultural extension in Nigeria.
The National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services has indeed made great impact in strengthening extension services in Nigeria, thanks to partners who have supported the Institute over the years to ensure that modern agricultural technologies get to farmers. This is where we draw the curtain on this episode. Keep a date with us again, same time, same station next week for another package. I have been your guide, Gabriel Ojile. Good night.